All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you find yourself. Welcome to the New York session. I hope you're doing well. Um, yes, so we are currently looking at the dollar index, and um, as it stands, okay. Um, as it stands, we can see that the dollar index is holding this fair value gap and breaking this one. So my attention goes to the Asian session low and this gap over here that happened in New York session on Monday. I think that is where price is gonna trade to, these two levels, 98.43, 98.34. Those are the downside objectives for the dollar index. So euro is likely gonna see a movement to this order block here, but I prefer the British pound because the British pound has got some imbalances to fill up here, and then we had a nice small mini swing that happened in this range, right? We have a low, high, and then went down, so we will come up into OTE, especially the 50% region. So this low to this high, that 50%, and above it we have this and then that gap. So I kind of prefer the British pound to the euro. I happened to get an entry yesterday after the shift. So if you go back to the dollar index yesterday when we shifted, because I gave you two levels to watch. I gave you one on the daily, which was this one here, and then the 3 months here. All right, and I said we will see what is gonna happen. What actually happened was we shifted, we broke structure, left a fair value gap here. During Asian session we got there, and then during the London session price gave a nice entry similar to I think I took a trade yesterday, can't remember which one. Something similar happened during the London session. Now I'll show you when I find it. I traded to that gap and then went down, so that gave a buying opportunity in London over here. It gave a buying opportunity in London over here, but because I'm expecting lower prices, I prefer this British pound actually going up there. So let's see within the next hour if they can close above this down candle. You can use that as a protection. Your stop loss can go below that, and then aim for the gap up here with partial in here where the gap happened overnight. So partial over here, and then the rest holding it to go up there. Okay, that is basically what that is all for now. We will see after, you know, when price gives us that, then we will see what is going to happen next. Euro pound, I'm looking for continuation to the downside. Actually, let me go to the weekly chart. Oops. Okay. So with the weekly chart, since we went above this high here, right, we closed above it, this is a pullback, and with that pullback, this is going to be the range, and then inside that range somewhere here, right, is OTE. So I will expect them to trade somewhere down there for continuation to the upside. Now it's a little bit tricky, simply because we don't have any gap, we don't have any order block on the weekly chart. So treat this with caution. When price gets here, wait for confirmation before you look for the long. Okay, now to the daily. Since the daily has shifted, we've broken below that low. That's why I'm looking for lower prices to trade to that, and then we look for rejection to go up. But when we get here, you're gonna be patient. Don't just go and then buy. You're gonna wait for price to actually give you a confirmation that is gonna go up, which obviously I'm here. So if it does give you the confirmation, I will know, and then we'll go with it. For now, I'm looking for lower prices. Give me a second, guys. I have my Telegram ringing. Okay. Okay. So as I was saying, I'm looking for continuation to the downside. Now, in terms of where entry is gonna be, I had a level that I was watching for the high of the day to form, which was up here. So if you look inside this gap, okay, you're gonna realize that there's really nothing there, but the real gap is up there. If you go through the lower time frame, so this, I think, is manipulation. So the real gap is there. Now if we trade through that, okay, then price will come maybe up here, or I don't think that it will be happening because of the volume imbalance. So there's a lot of reasons for price not to go up, especially this volume imbalance on the daily, and within that volume imbalance is where that gap that I'm talking about is. All right, so watch that area. If we get there, anticipate price going down again. All right, yeah. Gold. So gold, I still think we're gonna come up over here. This low, this high, that is a range. We've traded to discount and we are getting a rejection. Now yesterday I was looking at the 15 minutes time frame and we broke above this up candle, which is the last up candle prior to the move down, taking out this low, and then we are back above it, I think during the Asian session. And this morning when I was looking at price, I saw they took out the Asian session low and then rejected, and so I'm looking for long. Now it's not what's the word? The word is, it's not clean in terms of longs. Okay, essentially this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so I'm treating this as a potential low of the week where we've taken out the previous week low here, and then price was rejecting. If you look at the weekly, that's that weekly low. Okay, so I'm treating it as a potential low of the week with that rejection. But for anyone looking for long, I'll suggest you wait for this up candle here to give up. So wait for that up candle to give up. When that happens, you can use that down candle as your protection for a long. All right, you can use that down candle for a long. So yeah, that is that for gold. Crude oil, price is still hanging around. I think yesterday I highlighted the level that if we were to climb back above it, if we were to trade to it, I'll look for long. That was this level here. We did sweep it, but I'm still not convinced, because again, sometimes when these gaps happen, they would like to close the gap in before going up or down. Okay, so with price now struggling to go up, maybe they would like to come and close in this gap. Ideally left open would be good, but you know, price has been going up for some time now. If you look at the daily chart, we are extremely overbought. We've gone above the RSI. The weekly has also just popped its head above the RSI high, which hasn't done that in a very, very long time. Since the last time it did that was in 2022. Since then, we've not hit the RSI high. Okay, so we might be experiencing either consolidation or maybe a pullback. Okay, so sit tight, wait at least the daily. If the daily can close above the down candle like we did here, then we can get, you know, some nice longs to go above that high. I think we will go and attack it. That is that high over there, comes in at 78.40. I think we will go and attack it, but maybe as usual they will, you know, hang around, play around, manipulate, stop people out before they do that. So I'm keeping an eye on the daily and the H4. So watching the H4. If we can get a down candle and then a close above the down candle, then you can look for a trade, or the daily down candle and a close above it, that is also valid for a potential long. Until then, stay put and then watch. Can you go short? Not a fan of it. At this rate, I'm not a fan of a short. I'm all for longs, but patience is gonna require. ES, nice one from the ES as well. Yesterday, key level be rejected. Quick run up. Now I happen to, I think it was this one, maybe. No, it wasn't. We had a nice rejection from a preconceived level that I was watching, and I think I highlighted this up candle that if we break it, we're gonna go down. We're gonna go up, and that is what happened. But I saw it on the 15 minutes chart. I had already highlighted this order block on the weekly. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. All right. Okay. So, yes, I saw it on the 15 minutes chart. I think right this candle, when that candle closed, this is a key level. It's a weekly order block. This one here, and then inside that, that is, I think maybe I'll do a lesson on that. I'll do a lesson on order blocks. I've done quite a lot of them, but when we have an order block with a fair value gap inside it, focus on that. So if you look, we don't have any gap here, so that is not where price wants to go to, right? We have a gap here. So if I highlight that gap, where is that gap within the order block? Right, it's here. So then price is only gonna come into that area, and then in that area, where is the gap itself? Is between 1, 2, 3 candles. Okay, these 3 candles, meaning we focus on the middle candle. Now if we focus on the middle candle, then we drop down, then we have to go to time of the day, which is New York session. So if I highlight New York session, we have this level, right? But if you drop down to the lower time frame, it's gonna bring you to that one, and then if you keep drilling down, you're gonna eventually find the exact level, which I didn't have time to do it, but this would be the exact level price would like to come to. That's one. We also have this one here. Okay, so that's the first one, that's the second one, and that would be the third one. And these gaps are within the middle candle. So we are focusing primarily on the middle candle. Okay, so the middle candle is what you focus on, because that's where the gap is, and we use time of the day, and using time of the day, these are the gaps. So that is where you want price to come to, and then give you a reaction. Not price come there and then you buy, but price comes there and then it give you a reaction. And that reaction is what happened over here, right? With that reaction, let me play it. Okay, so if you look, that's the first one, that's the second one, that's the third one. So with this reaction off from that gap, trading through the up candle during the New York session, whilst price has traded down Monday, Tuesday, then this is likely going to be a pivot for the week or weekly low, and then with a shift you can start looking for the buy. So after that candle, I went long with that, with my stop loss there, and then this is where we are at now. Now, with all that said, let me remove all this business, focus on this. That has now given shape to the H4 order block being created, now another order block being created. So as it stands, we should be expecting price to trade up here, but there is nothing really there apart from the Asian session high. If we don't get, and this is a big if price doesn't reverse from here, which is go down from here, then we will attack this high, 6911, 6,911. If we don't reverse and go down from here, which I don't think that will be the case, because we have order block on the H4. We took out this low into the fair value gap and then rejected. So there's going to be a lot of reason for price not to go down. We also have this fair value gap in London being respected, so I think they are likely gonna go up here. So during the New York session, keep an eye on this gap, because that is the order flow on the 1 hour. We don't want that to break. If they break, maybe you'll come to this candle's high. Okay, if they break this gap, it will come to this candle's high, and then we'll see what it's gonna do there, but I don't think that might be the case. In 27 minutes time, this candle close, we'll have an order block here, so that can also be used as a reason for them to continue going up. Okay, so that is that for the ES. Now before I continue, let me say this. Sometimes, okay, you need to give some time for price to do what it needs to do. I personally, I don't have the answer to every single movement that happens. Well, you can say I do, because I'm looking at it from a framework perspective, from a certain framework. That is how I'm looking at price. So within that framework, if I don't see what price wants to do, then obviously I'll be on the sidelines. And if you ever hear me saying I'm going to be on the sidelines, is because price is not fitting into the kind of framework that I'm using to look at price. It doesn't mean I don't know what's going to happen. It just means that what I'm looking at, it's not price is not giving me something for my subconscious to recognize. Right, a framework is within my subconscious, and my subconscious projects that framework onto the chart when I'm looking at it. So when I'm looking at it and I cannot see what I've already internalized, then I don't have anything. So sometimes when you hear me talk and I say I don't know what is going to happen, it doesn't mean that I don't know what price is going to do. I mean that what I'm expecting price to do based on how I'm perceiving price, there's nothing to do right now. Okay, I'm just putting out that there so that you will always remember that I'm human, I'm not a machine. I don't predict every single move, but when it's there, I will see it and then I'll show you what it's trying to do. Okay, with that said, let's go to Australian dollar. Same thing yesterday. I think I pointed to this level to watch because as price was dropping, that was the only key level that price was likely gonna use. And if I had to zoom in, right, the key level is right here, that one, that little gap. I can draw down to the lower time frame and dropping down to the lower time frame, and then you see it clearly, that one. So that's what price came for. Now sometimes ICT says that the wick does the damage, the body tells the story. So from the 1 hour perspective, you see that the wick did the damage, the body told the story, price rejected the gap. Now what I'm expecting is for us to first of all, at least for today, move beyond this because it's kind of where price is struggling. Again, you can see multiple wicks, right, rejecting the landing session gap. There was one up here as well that price has been rejecting. We need price to trade through that before bullishness will happen. Okay, yeah, we need that to happen before price can give us any meaningful move. So keep an eye on that. If we can close above it, even though we've gone above this one, this up candle, which is good because it happened during the New York session. The gap is still hunting us, so I would like to see the gap broke. Right, I want them to break it, and then we can use the gap on the downside to now anticipate continuation to the upside. Okay, yeah, but I would like you to focus more on the euro and the British pound, okay, because of the dollar index. I like the euro and the British pound more than the Australian dollar. Reason being, we just recently closed below this up candle, right? So for bullishness to set in, especially on the daily, we need to go all the way up and close above the opening price of yesterday. That's when bullishness can set in. This is still a pullback. If you bought down here, great, you can hold on to it to go up. But if you haven't bought yet, then you need to wait because you will need the order flow to shift, or we need a change in the state of delivery from here to up there. Okay, and then yen, we're seeing some kind of rejection so far. We've not created any significant gap yet, on the lower time frame, on the 1 hour. We've traded through the one that happened in the London session yesterday, this one here, and then that little one there, but we've not created one on this side yet. So I'm gonna wait for one to be created, and then I'll use that for a potential long. Okay, so just remain patient, let price create at least maybe during this New York session. If we can close below the previous day's low with big down candle, that would be good enough for the next target to be so next target would be somewhere, so nothing in here. Okay, if we close aggressively below that, next target could be here, which is 155.35. okay. Moving on to Bitcoin and Co. Okay, so Bitcoin, we've had a huge move to the upside. Again, I'm still not a big fan of it, simply because I'm not looking at price from this time frame perspective. Right? If you're looking from this time frame perspective, then yeah, that is different. But I'm not looking at price from this time frame perspective. I'm looking at it from a weekly to a monthly. So with these two time frames, this is just a pullback. It has nothing to do with what the big time frame wants to do. So watch where we are now. This candle's low, the fair value gap. We've just started a new month, so it's normal. If you look at previous month, same thing happened. We opened, we went up, went down, and then we closed. Last month we opened, small little movement to the upside, and then went down, and then we closed. We've opened, we are going up into a predefined gap with a previous low. So a high will form in here, similar to this. We call them redistribution. It happens when price is going down. Price does not go down in a straight line. They'll bring up candles and then slam it down. So that is what is just happening, and then the continuation to the downside will follow. So watch this gap here. We are likely gonna start getting reversals in there. We've just tapped into it, and to be precise, it can go all the way up to even into the 75,000 region and still be valid to go down again. All right, so don't get too excited. Depends on the kind of trader you are. I think Bitcoin, most traders are just buying and holding for long term, but yeah, if you are short term, then obviously you can go with longs, but don't hold on to it too much if you're long. Okay, so that is going to affect all the other cryptocurrencies. Let me remove this. And this is something that you do every beginning of a new month. All right, every new month, find the gap that exists within the month, this one. Then the new month, the high, depending on where price is going, the high can form in there and then continue going down. So here, that's where we might get to, and then resume going down. So don't get too excited with that. Same thing applies to this. The gap is over there, so we might be running into that and continue going down. Let's leave that one alone. Hype, on the other hand, I think I already spoke about this yesterday. It's either we're gonna come back down. So watch Bitcoin. Don't trade hype yet. Watch Bitcoin where we are now. If we start rejecting, hype will eventually drop back down to somewhere here. All right, and then you can look for potential longs. And then finally, Chachki. That's quite interesting. We dropped aggressively again. New month. This equal low is still there. It can't go for that low before going up, but yeah, it's all gonna depend on Bitcoin. Okay, so hopefully Bitcoin start rejecting in here. This will go down, take out the previous month lows in here, reject, and then trade to that 0.0006356 level. Okay, right. So yeah, that's pretty much all. AI 16Z, nothing is happening. Price has not done anything, so I'll leave that for now, and then I'll bring it up when anything happens. Okay, so back to dollar index. We are kind of stuck in here, but yeah, I'm all for higher prices. Watch the euro pound, because I think something will happen during this New York session. Okay, so that's all for now. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you same time tomorrow for another live session. Take care.